must be the least well-known and lowest titled person to ever give a speech like this, and I don't mean that in a falsely self-deprecating way. I'm pretty sure it's actually true. However, I still feel that your choice of me was excellent and thoughtful, not because I have the titles behind my name, years and years of experience, or a particular way with words. Rather, I feel it was a good and appropriate choice to ask me to address you tonight, simply because I know you. And to me, there's real value in actually knowing somebody. I don't just know you because, as the surgery clerkship director, I required 100% of you to rotate with me on my colorectal surgery service till your pockets were brimming with medical supplies, my patients were all ambulating regularly in the halls, your stethoscopes were no longer listening to the falsehood of bowel sounds, and your noses were numb to all foul smells. Sure, that gives me a good snapshot of your knowledge base and clinical skills, so that I can then more accurately evaluate you at the end of your clerkship. But I really know this class of very soon-to-be physicians so much better than that, and so much better than classes I had worked with before or since. I feel I also know this class well in spite of my not participating in a single form of social media. Perhaps my stubborn holdout from social media is the very reason I feel I truly know you at all. At least it gives me another excuse to avoid it. In fact, many of you I have known well since your first year, and some even before that. Don't believe me? Well, let me tell you some of the things I know about this class that may surprise you. I know that Jordan Nichols can drink a gallon of chocolate milk in a single sitting and then turn any pile of discarded wood into a work of art, all while wearing his sweatpants inside out and backwards. I also know that his appendix is better suited for life in a bottle of formalin rather than one in situ. I know Tori and Mary Morgan can dedicate a hard month of their lives to a mission trip to Rwanda with some CrossFit and mosquito bites mixed in on the side, and then easily trek to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro and back, all with a hecking cough. I know that Darren and Johnson can expertly follow a wilderness map, but I also know they have no ability to recognize that their selected map became obsolete 125 years ago. I know that to spell Lindsay's name correctly, it helps to remember A before E, and that she can bend any steel structure to her will, not just a tin blade. I know that Sonny is Miller's fearless travel companion when Bliss is busy as a resident. I know that Stephen Ambrose, Alex Wiles, and Sarah Cassidy all miss more than one TBL question on my TBL. I know Adam Powell is a great musician and singer, but sometimes he struggles to hit that high note. I know that Olivia is full of endless energy. In fact, I'm pretty sure her energy could power Mobile if we could figure out a way to plug into it. I know from our Rwanda experience that Darren would suggest trying a paperclip to make that connection. I also know that Heath is in ketosis as we speak, Goldbach is the legend, Austin paints tiny D&D figurines, and that my kids will label a male babysitter simply the Mister, so rare is the occurrence to them. Thanks for that knowledge, Samwise. Speaking of my kids, I know firsthand that Richie's parents are great pediatricians, but we were able to convince him to become a surgeon anyway. I know Caitlin Wilton's husband is not as good as fisherman as I am, but I know he got a steal of a deal selling his boat to Johnson. Finally, I even know that John Moore will stoop to any depth to get his first hog kill in the Mobile Delta. So what is the use of all this arbitrary knowledge, you may be wondering? Just to get a laugh and remind each of us not to take ourselves too seriously? It's certainly that, but also more. It is an attempt to remind each of you that we and you are simply people first, each with our own unique abilities and idiosyncrasies that come together to make us whole before we are physicians. If you can remember that and nothing else from the speech tonight, I will be content. For it is in remembering your own humanity, silliness, and even frailties that can best prepare you to fully engage your future patients, who are each as unique as you are. In doing so, you can begin to better practice the art of medicine rather than just the science of it. And at the center of this art is the delivery of compassionate care to your patients. You have all now been equipped with the tools and basic building blocks to understand the science and purpose and methods of medicine. And you've proven to us that you have learned it by achieving the high scholarly level that this medical school demands in order to be seated here tonight. And when you finally fully transition into residency in less than 2 months from now, you will have that vast knowledge base to fall back on and sort and access as needed. And you will soon begin the blitz of intern year that is translating that great fund of knowledge into clinical practice of medicine. However, if you don't bring the desire to know your patients, that is to deliver compassionate care to them from the outset, of your intern year, residency can and often will bowl you over. So what exactly is compassionate patient care, you may wonder? Compassionate patient care is not just knowing all there is to know about a patient's disease and how best to manage or cure it. Rather, it is recognizing that a patient is truly suffering from their disease, and then, most importantly, compassionate care is desiring to meet a patient in their pain and suffering and ultimately elevate or alleviate them from it to the best of your ability. It is getting to know your patients and even their families by name, or smiling or giving them a hug when you see them in clinic or in follow-up. Compassion is sitting down in a patient's room and holding their hand and just being silent and letting them mourn with you after you have told them and their family about a terminal illness. At other times, compassion is best displayed just by being silent and listening while your patient speaks, rather than trying to tell them what you know in an effort to hurriedly make it to the next patient in clinic or the hospital. Compassion is always being honest, even when you know it's hard and may cause sorrow, but then being willing to sorrow with them. It doesn't mean becoming a blubbering mess or falling out incapacitated in our patient's sorrow and suffering. We are compelled and trained to maintain a level of excellence and detachment that allows us to function at our highest levels even in these hardest situations. But compassion is letting a patient know that you are also grieved in their suffering. While it is our years of rigorous learning and training in medical school and far beyond that equips us to be able to elevate patients from pain and suffering and cure or control disease, it is our compassion as physicians that puts that desire in us and helps build that trusting relationship of more than a practice among strangers, which most patients, especially the truly suffering ones, greatly desire. Practicing compassionate care is also a self-protective way to deal with the daily stresses of residency and beyond. Indeed, if you pay even a little attention to the medical journals, you will find a seemingly endless number of articles addressing the ever-growing incidence of burnout among physicians. In fact, a recent article published by the American Medical Association looking at burnout rates among medical specialties reported that the vast majority of specialties had a greater than 50% rate of burnout. No specialty reported a rate less than 40%, and the rate of burnout seemed to be rapidly increasing across specialties. The top 4 reasons surrounding burnout all essentially centered around the ever-increasing amount of red tape necessary to practice medicine, which threatens to sever or at least weaken the patient-physician relationship. Unfortunately, this red tape is not going away. Interestingly, only a week later, the AMA Wire released another article, this time reporting that those physicians who view their work as a calling, which they define as committing one's life to work that is personally meaningful and serves a social purpose, are more protected from burnout than physicians who see their work as simply their job or a way to earn a paycheck. I think it takes very little connecting of the dots to infer that those who practice compassionate patient care, those that desire to alleviate patient suffering, are those who view their practice not simply as a job to make ends meet or afford a life of luxury, interesting hobbies, or prestige, but rather those who view the practice of medicine as their ultimate calling. Yeah, but I know I won't suffer from burnout. You may be telling yourself, this compassionate care just sounds like a lot of touchy-feely hard work that will make me less efficient and won't result in me being paid an extra dime. Well, if you're the kind of person that needs dispassionate reasons to make you want to deliver compassionate care, dwell on the following. Numerous studies in the medical literature and lectures from endless malpractice attorneys over the years all point out that the best way to avoid a lawsuit is not to be a perfect physician that never makes a mistake or has a bad outcome. Rather, being perceived by your patients as an honest, compassionate, engaged communicator that clearly has their best interest at heart is the best protection from lawsuits. Compassionate care is also good for business in other ways. There's a common saying about the 3 A's that make a good physician in the eyes of patients and referring doctors, namely that a good physician is one who is affable, available, and able. The common joke, which is likely full of much truth, is that able is the least important of these 3 qualities. For example, as a surgeon, my patients and referring physicians have firsthand knowledge of my affability and availability, but as none of them are in the operating room watching me work, they have secondhand information at best about my true ability as a surgeon. It is therefore much more likely that a patient is referred to me or is satisfied with my care based on my affability and compassionate care than anything else. On a more immediately tangible note for you, many of you will soon be working with medical students under you and find yourselves on the other end of anonymous evaluations. I can guarantee you that grabbing that bright-eyed and petrified third-year medical student that you're about to come across and taking them under your wing and taking an interest in their learning is not just going to get you good evaluations and comfort you that at least someone feels more incompetent than you do on July 1st. Rather, your display of compassion to them will begin to hone your ability to compassionately care for your patients, and it will leave that student with a great sense of awe and admiration and a future goal of who they want to become themselves. Conversely, if you tell yourself that your schedule is too busy or your role too important to teach and help those looking up to you, you will slowly find yourself becoming that negative role model or influence that you swore you would never become when you witnessed it, hopefully rarely, in your own training. This outlook will quickly and often silently trickle into your care for your patients, leaving you burned out and your patients dissatisfied, or even worse, not cared for to the best of your ability. Of course, you will not always be successful in this endeavor to know your patients and colleagues and practice compassion. All physicians and people in general will at times struggle to live out what they preach, myself very much included. However, it is recognizing these instances and striving to correct them that will separate the compassionate from the dispassionate. In closing, compassionate care is never forgetting the amazing privilege we have to be a physician in a great country like ours, and always remembering that our task is so much more than collecting a paycheck, punching a time card, fulfilling a learning objective, or improving a quality measure. It is recognizing our patients not just as strange vehicles carrying a disease that you are tasked to eradicate and nothing more, but also seeing them as dignified human beings fully worthy of all our respect. It is getting to know them by recognizing their whole person, their sorrows and joys, their fears and beliefs. Most importantly, it is not only a recognition of suffering and sorrow, but then also a desire and action to alleviate and heal. You are on the cusp of embarking on a lifetime dedicated to not just learning, but now practicing both the science and art of medicine, finally getting to toss those short white coats aside for much longer and luxurious appearing ones. You have climbed up and then sped down the first hill, that of medical school, likely barely able to believe it is already over after at first thinking this moment may never come. I can tell you with certainty that the next hill of residency is even steeper on the climb, but faster on the descent. And before you know it, you will all be independently practicing physicians. I know I speak for all the faculty and staff here at South Alabama and all the friends and family in attendance when I say we are so proud of you. I personally will greatly miss those of you that are leaving. If we are fortunate, some of you will come back to South, or at least to the Mobile area, to work. Wherever you are, I would challenge you all to remain engaged with your patients and communities. Never fail to take the opportunity to educate those that will come after you. Learn how to laugh at yourself and with your colleagues and patients. And lastly, never stop striving to deliver compassionate, patient-centered care. Thank you.
At that same class meeting, the seniors select the student who will provide the response from the class. This year's response will be provided by Alan Akira.
Hey everyone. Thank you, Dr. Grimm. That comment about you appreciating my hair definitely took the nerves off. Appreciate it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. Parents, family, friends, mentors, everyone here tonight is directly responsible for the collective success of our class. Please look around for a moment and give yourselves a round of applause. The first thing I thought of when brainstorming ideas for tonight's speech can be summed up in one word, and that word is time. I would be remiss to mention how much time it took for us to be here. 4 years of medical school on top of 16 other years of education to round out a bare minimum of 20 years in school. Time, ladies and gentlemen, was the topic of actually a story I read several weeks ago. Some of you in this room may remember the news about a plane crash that occurred on a flight from Jakarta to Singapore in December of 1997. This was a story of a Boeing 737 that crashed and all 97 passengers aboard perished. One of those passengers on board was an author by the name of Bonnie Hicks, who at the time had just recently published an article in the Sunday paper on how the brevity of life cannot be overemphasized. Chillingly, she wrote days before she passed on that flight, and I quote, "I cannot take for granted that time is on my side, because it is not." Time. What do we do with it? How can we make the most of it for the rest of our lives? I question my own position to speak on such a topic, but nevertheless, my classmates, I suspect, had an inclination that I would try. So to the best of my ability, listen carefully for the 3 things I hope you will take with you to the next chapter in your lives. Number 1, constantly evaluate your priorities. As I've grown older and more mature, I've found happiness to be less related to a chase for something and more so a function of contentment. And that contentment itself is a byproduct of understanding your priorities. Too often, we find ourselves only learning what our priorities are after something life-altering happens. And those priorities you thought you knew are only now put into glaring focus. I challenge you all to ask yourselves what your priorities are. The next thing to know about priorities is that knowing them is not enough, because they will change with the ebb and flow of our lives. So it is essential to constantly evaluate them. Ask yourselves what you are willing to sacrifice on that long list of priorities in order to invest your energy and time into those things at the very top. Remembering all the while that we will never get everything we want in any single moment, but that it is possible to attain much with enough sacrifice. Socrates once said, "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have." This brings me to point 2. Actualize your gratitude. I will never forget walking into school cafeteria when I was a first-year freshman at UAB. I had no money at the time. I had learned the art of living on $4 a day, but it was not uncommon to come up short. As I looked at the options in front of me, jingling the change in my pocket I knew would not be enough for anything there, a server standing behind the glass named Mr. Ray looked at me, and he asked if I was hungry. I told him I didn't have enough. Without hesitation, he made me a plate and commanded me to walk out with it, and if anyone asked any questions, he told me to say Mr. Ray said it was okay. He did that for 2 years. Over those course of 2 years, I learned many things about Mr. Ray. I learned that he was a dedicated Christian, a father, a grandfather, and that he was working 2 jobs to make ends meet. During that time, he would reiterate many simple life lessons to me. Do unto others what you would have done to you. When you climb the ladder of success, it is your duty to drop it back down for another. Simple lessons like these. On the last days of school before Thanksgiving and Christmas break, I would always bring him a plate of food, home cooked of course, in a small attempt to show him my appreciation. Then one day he was no longer working at UAB. It would be another 3 years until I bumped into Mr. Ray by happenstance in the middle of the streets on Birmingham. It is then where I hugged him and thanked him for what he had done so that I could focus on my studies long enough to be accepted into medical school. The point is this: everyone has their own Mr. Ray. Someone who has alleviated at least one of the many stressors that life has presented us. William Arthur Ward once said that feeling gratitude without expressing it is like wrapping a gift but never giving it. So I challenge you all to take those feelings of gratitude, those esoteric thoughts we all have, and actualize them into existence. Third and final point, trust in yourself. I feel it as you do. That gut-wrenching feeling that people will be looking to us for answers to questions we don't even know how to ask. In weeks, we will be in a position where all of a sudden our responsibilities greatly outweigh and tower over our confidence. But it is in those moments of discomfort and insecurity that we have the opportunity to learn to be something more. Thomas Carlyle once said, "No pressure, no diamonds." And as I look at everyone here, I know that our potential cannot be overstated. So embrace the process. Do not be afraid to ask for help. And eventually, learn to trust in yourself. In closing, time, ladies and gentlemen, is finite. Constantly evaluate your priorities. Actualize your gratitude. Learn to trust in yourself. Congratulations to the class of 2018. We did it.
We will now move to the presentation of awards. Hopefully the students have looked into the program. If you are going to receive an award, would you please stand and walk over to the ramp that's on this side, and Frank will help you line up in the order in which the awards will be given. So just look in the program and see if your name is there for an award. For the rest of you in the room, the students did not know until they got in here today who was receiving these awards. Dr. John Marymont, Vice President for Medical Affairs and Dean of the College of Medicine, will present the first award, which is the Dean's Award.
Thanks. The Dean's Award is given to the graduating senior who has accumulated the highest scholastic grade point average for the full 4 years of medical school. This year's recipient is Charles Alexander Wiles.
Dr. Anthony Gard, Assistant Dean for Medical Education, will present the next award, which is the Marc Award.
This award is given to the graduating senior students who have demonstrated superior academic achievement. This year's recipients are Stephen Longshore Ambrose and Austin Thomas Brown.
Dr. Kelly Ravita, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs and Assistant Professor in the Department of Pathology, will present the Glasgow Rubra Achievement Citations.
This award is presented to those women students who graduate in the top 10% of their class. This year's recipients are Sarah Kristen Cassidy and Rebecca Adair Young.
Dr. Errol Crook, Abraham A. Mitchell Chair and Professor in the Department of Internal Medicine, will present the Dr. Robert A. Kreisberg Endowed Award of Excellence.
Will Ms. Ginger Kreisberg come to the stage to present the award to the student if she's here? She's there? Okay. Dr. Robert Kreisberg was the founding chair of medicine here at the University of South Alabama and served as dean on 2 occasions and actually hired me and was a mentor of mine. This award is presented to a graduating senior student in the top 25% of the class who is distinguished in both the clinical and basic sciences. The student has demonstrated superior leadership and integrity, possesses a strong work ethic, and has performed in such a way as to earn the respect of his or her fellow students and faculty. This year's recipient is a true embodiment of the work ethic and intelligence of Dr. Robert Kreisberg, and that's Charles Alexander Wiles.
Dr. Charles Rodning, professor in the Department of Surgery, will present the Leonard Humanism and Medicine Awards.
The Leonard Tao Humanism and Medicine Award is presented by the Arnold P. Gold Foundation to the senior medical student and faculty member nominated and selected by the senior class who exemplify exceptional compassion in the delivery of medical care and the utmost respect for their patients' family, and their colleagues. And the recipients this year are Ms. Catherine Elizabeth Glossmeyer and Leander M. Grimm, Jr. You old son of a gun.
Dr. William Blaylock will present the Medical Alumni Leadership Award.
This award is presented to the senior student who, by vote of our newest class members, the class of 2018 of the Medical Alumni Association, in recognition for outstanding leadership by his peers. And this year's recipient is Alan Akira.
Dr. T.J. Hunley, Associate Professor in the Department of Internal Medicine and Assistant Dean for Medical Education and Student Affairs, will present the Pro Assurance Award.
This award is presented to the senior medical student who plans to remain in Alabama for residency and excels in patient communication. This year's recipient is Adam Michael Powell.
Dr. M.A. Walsh, President of the Medical Society of Mobile County, will present the Community Service Award.
This award is presented by the Mobile Medical Society of Mobile County to two senior medical students whose classmates believe best fulfill the ideals of humanitarian public service as demonstrated by superior awareness of and achievement in civic and community programs. This year's recipients are Winston Murphy Crute and Adam Michael Powell.
Dr. Hattie Miles, former Assistant Dean for Educational Enrichment, will present the SNMA Leadership Award.
It is my pleasure to present the Student National Medical Award. This award is given by the Student National Medical Association and is awarded to the graduating seniors who have demonstrated outstanding community, school, and organizational service and leadership qualities. This year's recipients, the first time there have been two, is Alexandria Linnea Broadnax and Yasmin Strickland.
The next two awards will be presented by Dr. Benjamin Estrada, Assistant Dean for Medical Education and Professor and Vice Chair in the Department of Pediatrics. The first is the Adele Mantiply and Gerald Galley Pediatric Endowed Scholarship. It will be co-presented by Mary Jo Galley in memory of her husband. Let's see her. There she goes.
This scholarship is awarded to a graduating student who has accepted a position in a pediatric residency program at the University of South Alabama and intends to practice pediatrics in Mobile and/or Baldwin counties. This year's recipient is Kelly Ann Gilreath. The Rita Valiga Memorial Medical Scholarship is awarded to an outstanding student who demonstrates a merit ranking within the top 25% of the class, preferably interested in pursuing a career in pediatric healthcare. This year's recipient is Adam Michael Powell.
Dr. Sabrina Bassett, Assistant Professor in the Department of Internal Medicine, will present the next award, the Dr. Richard William Gorrik Memorial Endowed Scholarship.
This scholarship is awarded to a graduating senior student who has not only performed at the highest level during the third and fourth year, but has also demonstrated efficacy in patient relations and professionalism. This year's recipient is Sarah Kristen Cassidy.
Dr. T.J. Hunley will now present the Dr. William James Atkinson Jr. Memorial Endowed Scholarship.
This scholarship is presented to a fourth-year medical student exhibiting exemplary character, possessing a dedication to the field of medicine, and demonstrating a commitment to compassionate patient care. The student is interested in primary care and hopefully plans to practice in the state of Alabama. This year's recipient is Charles Alexander Wiles.
Dr. Mary Ella Sermon, class of 1978, will now present the John A. Desick Award.
Congratulations. 40 years ago, I sat where you were. You're on the beginning of an exciting journey, and I'm very proud of all of you. This award is in honor and memory of my father, who helped my dreams come true. It is given to the highest ranking woman in the class who has selected a residency in internal medicine. The recipient will have her name added to a plaque, which hangs in the college. The award itself is cash because my father said medical students always need more money. You know, it would help if I gave you the person. It's been a long day at work today. The recipient is Catherine Elizabeth Glossmeyer. My apologies.
I will now present the Dr. Stephen Carl Teplet Memorial Award. This award is presented to a graduating senior student specializing in radiology and committed to lifelong learning as exemplified by Dr. Stephen Teplet. This year's recipient is John Chandler Van Dyke. Dr. Anthony Garb will now present the outstanding student in the pre-clerkship curriculum.
This award is given to a graduating senior student for outstanding performance in the pre-clerkship curriculum. This year's recipient is Sarah Kristen Cassidy.
The next two awards will be presented by Dr. Kristen Altermatt, Assistant Professor in the Department of OBGYN and Director of Clinical Skills.
Good evening. This award is for excellence in teaching and clinical skills. This award is presented to the graduating senior student for outstanding teaching skills and student mentoring in clinical skills in our clinical skills program. The student has demonstrated a dedication to education in the field of clinical skills. This year's recipient is Daniel Douglas Johnson. A second award for excellence in curriculum development and clinical skills. This accolade deserves recognition to the graduating senior student for outstanding skills in curriculum development of the clinical skills program. The recipient this year is Catherine Elizabeth Glossmeyer.
Dr. Abu Al-Mahdi, Professor in the Department of Pharmacology, will now present the Pharmacology and Therapeutics Award.
This award is presented to the graduating senior for demonstrating outstanding knowledge in basic and clinical pharmacology. So this year's the best prescription writer is Michael Heath Haggard.
Dr. David Grims, Professor and Chair in the Department of Pediatrics, will now present the Hollis J. Wiseman Award for Excellence in Pediatrics.
Dr. Hollis J. Wiseman was the first neonatologist in the city of Mobile and is founder of the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at USA Children's Women's Hospital that bears his name. The Hollis J. Wiseman Award for Excellence in Pediatrics is presented annually to the medical graduate of the University of South Alabama who, during the pediatric clerkship, best exemplified Dr. Wiseman's qualities of outstanding scholarship, enduring compassion for patients and families, concerned involvement in the profession and community, unending enthusiasm for exploration, and steadfast love of family, friends, and colleagues. This year's recipient is Lauren Elizabeth Nelson.
Dr. Errol Crook will now present the Samuel Eichhold Award.
Dr. Eichhold was a long practicing physician here in Mobile who was again a member of the inaugural faculty of the Department of Medicine. This award is presented to the graduating medical student who, through scholarship, patient care, interaction with faculty and house staff, and motivation, has demonstrated outstanding achievement in internal medicine. This year's recipient is Alex Wiles.
Dr. Alan Perkins, Professor and Chair in the Department of Family Medicine, will now present the Ralph Denny Wright and Angie Wright Memorial Scholarship.
This scholarship is awarded to the senior student focusing on internal medicine or family practice who strives to become a compassionate physician and skilled diagnostician as exemplified by Dr. Wright. This year's recipient, I'm pleased to announce, is Dr.-to-be Amy Marie Traylor.
Dr. Richard Marks, Professor and Chair and Program Director in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery, will present the Orthopedic Excellence Award.
Thank you and good evening. Congratulations to our graduating medical students. The Orthopedic Excellence Award is presented to the graduating medical student who best personifies the compassion, selflessness, and tireless work ethic of Drs. Anderson, McBride, and Meyer. The student has shown excellence above all peers during their orthopedic rotations. This year's recipient is Daniel Douglas Johnson.
Dr. Lee Graham will now present the John W. Donald Memorial Award in Surgery.
The Department of Surgery each year honors the memory of Dr. John Watson Donald. Dr. Donald was a distinguished practitioner here in Mobile. His outstanding practice of the art of surgery served to provide a superlative role model for students of surgery. He was committed to the University of South Alabama and its mission, and to the Department of Surgery. His excellence in teaching and enthusiastic support for the educational program of the Department of Surgery will long be remembered. Each year, the graduating medical student who attained the highest grade during the surgical clerkship is awarded the John Watson Donald Memorial Surgical Award. To commemorate the award, the student receives a certificate and a cash award, hopefully to be used in the purchase of surgical books. This year's recipient is Greg Van Wagner.
Dr. Alan Perkins will now present the H.C. Mullins MD Award.
This accolade is awarded by the faculty of the Department of Family Medicine to the graduating senior who demonstrated excellence in the ability to apply principles, practice, and philosophy of family medicine in caring for patients and their families. This award is given in honor of Dr. H.C. Mullins, Professor Emeritus and founding chair of the department. This year's recipient is Caitlin Crow Littleton. And it comes with a cash award as well.
Dr. Kristen Altermatt will now present the Obstetrics and Gynecology Award.
The Obstetrics and Gynecology Award tonight is an award that's presented to the graduating medical student who, through scholarship, patient care, interaction with faculty and house staff, and motivation, has demonstrated excellence in obstetrics and gynecology. This year's recipient is Sarah Kristen Cassidy.
The next two awards will be presented by Dr. Michael Sternberg, professor in the Department of Emergency Medicine.
Congratulations. I'm proud of each and every one of you. A very large percentage of you are going into emergency medicine this year, which makes me very proud. The Excellence in Emergency Medicine Award. This award is presented by the faculty of the Department of Emergency Medicine to recognize the graduating senior student who demonstrated outstanding performance and academic excellence in emergency medicine. This year's recipient is Austin Thomas Brown. The next award I have to present is the Society for Academic Emergency Medicine Award. This award is presented by this National Society on behalf of SAEM to the graduating medical student who has demonstrated excellence and academic proficiency in emergency medicine. This year's recipient is Tyler James Goldbach.
Dr. Ronald Franks, professor and acting chair in the Department of Psychiatry, will now present the Excellence in Psychiatry Award.
This award is presented to the graduating medical student who, through scholarship, patient care, motivation, and interaction with faculty and house staff, has demonstrated excellence in psychiatry. This year's recipient, David Boutros-Risk. David.
Dr. Elizabeth Minto, assistant professor in the Department of Neurology, will now present the American Academy of Neurology Award.
Congratulations to all of you. I want to say thanks for making this job a lot more fun. The American Academy of Neurology Award is presented to a graduating medical student who exemplifies outstanding scientific achievement and clinical acumen in neurology or neuroscience, and outstanding personal qualities of integrity, compassion, and leadership. This year's recipient is not your typical neurologist, and I'm thrilled to call her a South graduate. I will claim you. Congratulations, Brianna Joy Moore.
And now Alan Akira, president of the class of 2018, will present the faculty awards.
The first award goes to two recipients, and it is deemed an award for the best pre-clerkship educators that were responsible for our own education during the first and second years of medical school. The winners of those awards are Dr. Brian Fowdy and Dr. Troy Stevens. The next award was voted by our class for the best module, which again encompasses our first and second years of medical school. The best module award goes to the respiratory module. Congratulations, Dr. Troy Stevens. And Dr. Brian Fowdy again. The next award is called the Award for the Best Clinical Educator. The individual that won this award was grossly responsible for our collective success. The winner of that award for the Best Clinical Educator is Dr. T.J. Hunley. Congratulations. Our final award is a special one. It is deemed what we have voted as the best third-year medical clerkship. For the past 20 years, internal medicine has won this award consistently. And for the first time, I am proud to announce that the best third-year clerkship, congratulations to the surgery clerkship, to Dr. Grimm, and I would be remiss to mention that Miss Jill Garcia is joining us on stage, who was also grossly responsible for the success.
All right. We'll now move to the hooding of the graduates. And I'm going to ask for those of you that are hooders, as you see your graduates stand and come and line up, would you please stand too so that we can line up here on the ramp? We'll wait for the first group. And our first graduate is Alan Akira. He will be hooded by his wife, Danielle Keys. Our second graduate is Stephen Longshore Ambrose. He will be hooded by his wife and his mother and father. Our next graduate is Leith Omar Bayazid. He is being hooded by his parents. Our next graduate is Kirsten Germaine Brassfield. She has been hooded by her mother. Our next graduate is Thomas Cameron Breimer, and he is being hooded by his parents. Our next graduate is Alexandria Linnell Broadnax. She's been hooded by her mother, her aunt, and mentors. Austin Thomas Brown is being hooded by his wife. Caitlin Marie Brown is being hooded by her parents and her fiancé. Otis Hendren Brunson IV is being hooded by his mother, sister, and brother-in-law. Benjamin Andrew Bush is being hooded by his wife and his parents. Dylan Walker Casey is being hooded by his parents. Sarah Kristen Cassidy is being hooded by her parents. William Clifton Crittenden is being hooded by his father and his fiancée. Winston Murphy Crute is being hooded by his wife. Where's your son? And his parents. James Eva Davidson is being hooded by his wife and his daughter. Cody Lynn Davis is being hooded by his parents. Michelle Gandhi Deegan is being hooded by her husband and her father. Kyle James Duncan is being hooded by his father, mother, and fiancé. Darren Scott Fury is being hooded by his wife. Christopher Blair Gaines is being hooded by his parents and his sister. Thomas Jonathan Jackson George is being hooded by his mother and his two sisters. Kellyanne Gilreath is being hooded by her parents. Catherine Elizabeth Glosmeyer is being hooded by her parents. Tyler James Goldbach is being hooded by his father, mother, and sister. Michael Heath Haggard is being hooded by his father and wife. William Johnson Hardy III is being hooded by his parents and his brother. Richard Eric Hutteman is being hooded by his parents and his wife. Justin Edward Hughes is being hooded by his parents. Daniel Douglas Johnson is being hooded by his mother and his two sisters. Justin Kong Jung is being hooded by his parents. Danielle Elizabeth Keys is being hooded by her husband, Alan Akira. Mohini Krishnan is being hooded by her parents. Samantha Yusan Lin is being hooded by her parents. Lindsay J. Lindsay is being hooded by her parents. Caitlin Crow Littleton is being hooded by her mother. Jordan Elizabeth Lowry is being hooded by her grandmothers. Thomas Henry Lunsford is being hooded by his wife. Allison Iko Marsh is being hooded by her mother, father, and sister. Michael Loudon Marshall is being hooded by his wife and parents. Olivia Cassie Means is being hooded by her parents. Brianna Joy Moore is being hooded by her parents and her boyfriend. Y'all can just stay there. You're cool. Yeah. Jonathan Charles Moore is going to be hooded by his parents. For those of you that don't know, Brianna and Jonathan are twins. Come on, Jonathan. Divya Nadella is being hooded by her mother. There's more than a mother. There's her parents, and there's a young man here too. Lauren Elizabeth Nelson is being hooded by her mother, her sister, and her mentor. John Kirkwood Nicholson is being hooded by his parents. Jordan Taylor Nichols is being hooded by his wife. Martha Frances O'Hay is being hooded by her parents and her fiancé. Elliot Gordon Pennington is being hooded by his wife and his mother. Lam Nok Pham is being hooded by his parents and his sister. Adam Michael Powell is being hooded by his parents. Matthew Aaron Prevost is being hooded by his parents and his wife. Ooh. And there's some others along, like his brother is here. Haley Elizabeth Reed is being hooded by her parents. David Buttress Risk is being hooded by his father, his two sisters, and a brother. Tori Caitlin Saunders is being hooded by her parents and her sister. Alexandria Chase Sims is being hooded by her parents and her fiancé. Lauren Sarah Smith is being hooded by her parents. I don't see a brother. Amber Elizabeth Sowers is being hooded by her husband. David Lloyd Stedman is being hooded by his parents. Yasmin Elsie Strickland is being hooded by her mom, her daughter, and her husband. Elizabeth Ann Terry is being hooded by her parents and her brother. Ashton Wheeler Todd is being hooded by her mother, her sister, and her husband. Amy Marie Traylor is being hooded by her father and her mother. Joy Marie Underwood is being hooded by her father. John Chandler Van Dyke is being hooded by his mother and his grandparents. Gregory Scott Van Wagner is being hooded by his father. Richard Aston Vaucher is being hooded by his mother, father, fiance, and mentor. Mary Morgan Weed is being hooded by her parents. Charles Alexander Wiles is being hooded by his parents and his fiancée. Samuel Clay Wilson is being hooded by his wife. William Caleb Wilson is being hooded by his wife. Robert Miller Wright is being hooded by his wife. Rebecca Adair Young is being hooded by her parents. We will now proceed with the administration of the military oath. This will be led by Dr. Sidney Brevard, professor in the Department of Surgery and retired colonel in the United States Air Force.
Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to be part of this ceremony. For many years, Colonel Frank Pettyjohn has done this ceremony and had it down to an art. This is my first year, so if it seems a little disorganized, it is. Also, 8 years ago when I last wore this uniform, it didn't seem to be quite this snug, but next year maybe I'll either let it out or lose some weight. So we're about to administer the oath of office. That means that these gentlemen will be joining the officer ranks of the armed forces. It's a commitment of their time away from their family, commitment to go to wherever their orders tell them to go, and a commitment to protect our freedoms. It's a major commitment. I'd like to give them a round of applause. For our young officers, my words to you are embrace what you're getting into. Engage the cultures you're deployed into. Embrace and don't forget the camaraderie of the fraternity you are just about to enter, because the friendships and the bonds you make you will have for the rest of your lives. First, Captain Gaddis is going to read the oath of office for his brother, and then I'll read the oath of office for our other two young officers.
That I take this obligation freely
and with graduation from medical school and the oath of office, each is promoted from the lowest ranking officer, a lieutenant in the Air Force, and an ensign in the Navy, to a rank of a lieutenant in the Navy and captain in the Air Force, moving from the first rank to the third in one day.
Dr. John Marymount will now be leading the administration of the Hippocratic Oath with the soon-to-be graduates. Please rise.
If you'd like to follow along, you can. The Hippocratic Oath is towards the end of the program. The graduating students would please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatever house I will enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power, that holding myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, from the tempting of others to vice, I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patient, and will give no drug, perform no operation for a criminal purpose, even if solicited, far less suggested, that whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of men, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things do I promise. And the portion, as I am faithful to this, my oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine. In the opposite, if I shall be forsworn. Welcome to the profession, doctors.
You may be seated. Dr. Kelly Ravita will now acknowledge the AOA members, Gold Humanism members, and scholarship recipients.
The Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society is a professional medical organization that recognizes and advocates for excellence in scholarship and the highest ideals in the profession of medicine. The top 25% of a medical school class is eligible for nomination to the Society, and up to 16% may be elected based upon leadership, character, community service, and professionalism. The AOA members are recognized at convocation with the wearing of the AOA green cords. Would the AOA members please stand so they can be recognized? The Gold Humanism Honor Society honors medical students, residents, role model physician teachers, and other exemplars recognized for, quote, demonstrated excellence in clinical care, leadership, compassion, and dedication to service. Inspiration for the Gold Humanism Honor Society began late in the 1990s when medical educators and residency program directors expressed the need for a mechanism to identify applicants for internships and residencies who have outstanding clinical and interpersonal skills. Much of the inspiration emanated from the leadership of Dr. Arnold P. Gold, whose vision places people and relationships at the center of every healthcare interaction. The members of the Gold Humanism Honor Society are recognized with double gold cords. Would the student members of the Gold Humanism Honor Society please stand and be recognized? All right, we're close to the home stretch now. Our students are supported by an ever-growing number of scholarships, and we are grateful to all the individuals and groups who provide these scholarships. In your program, there's a complete list of all the scholarships and recipients. I would like for all the students who have received scholarship funding over the past 4 years to stand and be recognized. Finally, one of the strengths of this College of Medicine is the nurturing environment that is created for these students. This is in part due to an outstanding group of faculty. Each year, the graduating seniors have the opportunity to nominate the faculty that they feel have played a significant role in their education. These faculty are then recognized by the wearing of the red sash. Would those faculty wearing red sashes please stand and be recognized?
The past 4 years have flown by, but I would like for you graduating seniors to think back to freshman orientation and that session where you did a reflective writing. We gave one of those back to you at White Coat. A second one is found in that large white envelope. It's in a smaller white envelope. And your assignment was to answer the question, what are my fears and expectations as I begin my medical education? I think you will find it interesting, maybe amusing, to see what you wrote and if those fears and expectations were realized. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of the staff of the Office of Student Affairs. The event tonight is a result of a tremendous amount of work by those individuals: Karen Braswell, Sharon Bull, Connie Land, Frank Lucas, and Kimberly Risch. Can you please give them a hand of applause? This concludes our program. Thanks again for coming. We ask that you remain in your seats until the faculty and students have recessed out, and then please join us on the second floor by the Globe for reception. Again, thank you for coming.